Hello, and welcome back to Walk the Cinema podcast, where we walk the cinema so we can talk the cinema. Today is episode 6 of our Oscar Highlights series, where we will be talking about Promising Young Woman.
Yes, ma'am. And I would suggest that our audience subscribes for more Oscar coverage and also drop a like and maybe a comment if you have a suggestion for a future episode.
Yes, so saying that, let's get started to talk about Promising Young Woman.
Tell us what it's all about.
So basically, to sum it up, it's about this woman who decides that she's going to take revenge on the people that were involved in the rape of her friend.
Yes.
It's a kind of a dark comedy, but also kind of a thriller.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't think I would call it a revenge thriller.
I would. I think it has all the elements of a revenge thriller, but it's a little more glossy and colorful.
I just think it doesn't have the same impact that some other revenge thrillers usually have, such as
it's not very heavy. It's not a slasher.
Yeah, it's not gory, and it's not like there's not really like a lot of taking revenge on the rapist themselves, you know?
Yeah. They leave that for the end.
Yeah. But I guess to kind of start it off light, I actually liked the soundtrack a lot. I thought the songs are fun and a nice contrast to the darkness that the subject is, you know?
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, I know.
I like the score, but I don't like the soundtrack.
I love Britney. That one Paris song is pretty boppin', you know?
Yeah, sure. The intro song is I was thinking about Boys, Charlie X, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. It's very pop. It's a very pop film. You wouldn't expect it to be where it is for Best Picture.
Yeah, it is.
It seems very different from the other ones that we've covered.
Yeah, it also just seems like something I wasn't really expecting to be a Best Picture nomination when it came out. Even before it had Oscar buzz, I was like,
and this has nothing to do with the quality.
Right.
It's just the vibe, because it's more of a popular type film. It's not really.
Yeah, but I will say that I think that this movie is probably pretty divisive with some people.
Yeah, I think it's the most divisive. It's the most controversial one for sure. There's a lot of people that love it. There's a lot of people that hate it. I can see both sides.
I can see both sides for sure, but I'm kind of leaning more towards I love it.
I think I'm just in the middle, but it's not because of the social commentary that I'm in the middle. Obviously, rape's bad. It's just the movie itself. I don't think it's anything spectacular. I'm not a huge fan of the screenplay.
See, my thing with the screenplay is it got some stuff so right to me.
Okay,
in terms of like it being believable. And I have a perfect example because it kind of there's something that's happening in the at least the YouTube community that is almost exactly kind of how like this story of Nina has gone. I think you might know where I'm going with this.
Yes, I do.
The David Dobrik situation is the perfect example of this, where you have a guy that raped a drunk girl. Like, that's pretty evident. Like, they have.
And like, there's also footage of it.
Exactly. There's footage of it. There's the friends of this guy that were making jokes at the time where they're like, oh, but I didn't actually see the rape, but like, I knew that they were having relations. And it's so I see so many parallels to real life, especially when Bo Burnham's character, Ryan, this is not going to go in any type of order because this kind of happens right at the end, but when she finds out that Ryan was at the party and he was one of the witnesses that watched her friend get raped, and he like didn't say anything about it, and he also didn't say anything to the police at the end because he didn't want to be involved. He didn't want his name associated with it.
The police is one of the issues that some people have with this movie. That it's the revenge fantasy that happens because the cops can't help her, but in the end is super over reliant on the cops.
I can kind of see that, but I think that like this isn't exactly the perfect revenge story, because I think that at least this is kind of what I got from, I guess, the vibe that I forget her name, the director's name.
Oh, it's Emerald.
Yeah. What she was going for, because I think that she had toyed around with a lot of different potential endings to the script, and a lot of them didn't feel plausible. So I think she was trying to keep the story somewhat rooted in reality, I guess.
I still think it goes a little off. And the people that do like it, I've seen some people that do like it, their only issue is the ending.
I mean, yeah, the ending is a little bit silly.
Not that it's silly, it's just that it's not very satisfactory to see the main character die. Even though she used herself as the sacrifice that was needed for the cops to actually take action.
Yeah, and that's why I don't particularly mind that the main character died.
No, I don't mind it either. I'm not going to criticize the other.
But my main criticism is it's because it is the story, it's a plotline type thing where it's like, in this situation, if it was in real life, I have a hard time believing that if the guy killed her in the circumstances that happened in the movie, I think he could probably get away with it due to like, what is it called? Defending yourself, self-defense.
Yeah, maybe.
And then, so it makes it like weird that they then decide to like burn her body.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah,
even if that went to court without the burning of the body, it's probably not a very good legal case against him.
Yeah.
Because he just kind of acted off of fear.
Yeah, I just think that it's probably, I mean, there's probably some more legality to it that I'm not super aware of. I am not a lawyer.
But that's the type of thing that leaves me less satisfied than something like I Spit on Your Grave.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't, I don't know, I would like her to kill him. That's probably bad to say, but he's a rapist.
Yeah, but I mean,
you can die.
It is like, if this is going to be the rape revenge fantasy, then you kind of want it to be, you want it to go all the way, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I think that the reason why the director and the director/writer didn't go that route is because I have seen several criticisms in those types of movies where it's like, oh, well, why are you glorifying the killing of these like people? Like, you know, killing them isn't good. And then also, if it involves people that weren't necessarily directly involved in the rape, then people are saying that the person that was raped doesn't have like the moral high ground, I guess. Like she's just as bad, you know? So I think that the director was trying to mitigate that kind of response.
All right.
Because, you know, she never actually like harms any of the people beforehand. I think that a lot of people went into this thinking that she was going to murder the men that pick her up at the bars.
Yeah.
But she just kind of just teaches them a lesson. Like,
she scares them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they do imply that she kills them in the first one.
I don't think she kills them, though.
No. But they kind of want to give you the vibe that she will.
Oh, I mean, I guess they do try to like psych you out.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, she
there's a
might have
lot of
killed him.
gotcha type moments.
Yeah,
Like with
but
the dean at the college, they do the gotcha. Like she left her
yeah,
daughter with a bunch of guys and alcohol,
yeah,
and she got the dean
Uh,
to admit that she was wrong, but she had to do what was best for the school or whatever. But
yeah,
then she psychs her out. She's like, "Ah, I got you."
yeah,
She's at a diner being stupid because she's a fangirl.
yeah. I mean, there's also that particular scene with the dean does have, I think, it's a pretty basic line, but I think it's still very poignant where she says it's different when it happens to someone you love.
Yeah.
Because I think that there are a lot of people that are like that. I think that there's a lot of people out there that universally would say that rape is bad or that they stand with victims
Mm-hmm.
mostly. But if it happens to someone they don't know, there's a lot of like skepticism, I guess. I don't know. It's a tough.
The dean mentions innocent until proven guilty, which legally it is true,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to use your best assessment of the situation depending on the situation. And when it happens to others, it's easier to say that type of sentence.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, but I think that's my favorite scene of the whole movie. I think it's the most tense and the most well set up.
I agree.
I also like the scene with the lawyer, which plays into the ending. I think that scene might be right after that.
Yeah, I think she goes to see the lawyer next.
Yeah, the lawyer actually feels guilty and remembers her friend, and she's surprised.
Yeah, because she thinks that everybody involved was kind of heartless and didn't care about her friend, but she sees the first person pretty much ever that remembers her friend's name, that remembers the horrible things that happened to her.
He still did it for the money, and he admitted that.
Yeah,
And
and he feels bad.
he feels bad for doing it for the money, but it's too late at this point. So
Yeah, her
she kind
friend's
of
already dead.
uses him in her revenge plot that works towards the ending. And he goes along with it
Yeah.
because he feels so guilty. He feels like he needs to do what she asks of him. Which you don't see her ask of him, but you could just understand it from the
I
footage
mean, I
that they
think
show.
yeah, I think in the letter, if you like read some of it, it does say like,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
be
yeah.
at this location, release this if I'm not back by this time. I don't know. It's just such a hard topic
Yeah.
to think about, and it's awful. And I don't know. There was like some of the criticism I don't necessarily get because some of them are like, oh, like this isn't how it happens, and it's like it kind of is.
Well, I wouldn't know. I don't want to step in that pool.
I mean, I guess, but I just feel like I've seen, especially there's an incident that's so much like it that we've already talked about, the David Dobrik thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty much nobody wants to say anything because they're afraid that their friends are going to get in trouble. There's
Yeah.
people that don't feel like they did anything wrong. It's difficult.
Yeah, but I understand some of the hate for the movie because the message of the movie at face value could be very dangerous, but I really doubt Emerald is advocating for this type of entrapment. I think this is
No,
more of a message. It's not a call for action. It's just a message so you understand what certain people go through.
yeah.
And it's semi-relevant in this Me Too era.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people also like it for the wrong reasons. A lot of people like the girl boss attitude.
Right.
Which I don't dislike, which is like cold-hearted and going on rampages, keeping a straight face. Like there's a scene where she breaks this dude's car, but she's keeping a straight face.
Yeah.
It's very girl boss, but maybe not the best
Yeah.
attitude.
Right.
I do like it though. I do like it. I think it's pretty.
Yeah. There were like a couple things about the movie stylistic wise that I was a little it's a little not into, I guess. Like I think there were certain shots where she was trying to establish like a thing for her. You know how like some directors have like the thing that they do.
Yeah.
Like Wes Anderson. Like you
Right.
just know it's
Right.
a Wes Anderson movie based on that. I think she was kind of trying to do that, but then like it didn't really carry out through her movie. You know what I mean?
The only stylistic nomination this guy was the editing. It didn't get the cinematography
Yeah.
or the score.
I just kind of noticed that it was I think it was trying to be something that it didn't know where it was going exactly.
Yeah, I also think it was a little lighthearted for what it was trying to be overall.
I mean, I think that that's not, I'm not going to criticize it for being that because I do think it's not trying to be more serious than what it is, in my opinion.
I don't know if it's trying or not, but I think it should have been a little more serious. There's a lot of comedians, basically the whole cast were comedians or comedian actors, so I don't know. I feel like it could be a little more tense, but it still had the tense scenes that did work.
I think like part of the reason why the cast is the way it is, especially the male cast, is she got pretty average looking guys to play these characters, the ones that go up to drunk women and try to sleep with them, or that are involved in this like toxic kind of culture.
So you're saying it could be anyone type thing?
Kind of. I think I think that was probably a choice because they're all like just kind of average looking people, you know?
Yeah.
Like Bo Burnham's just kind of whatever.
Talk about Bo Burnham. He mentions his height difference to her. And it looks like he could be walking with a child, and I kind of felt that one. I've thought of that before when I'm walking with you.
You've thought that you're afraid that someone's going to mistake you for my dad?
Because we have like a foot between us.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a big difference, especially from the back. Because you're about at the level that she is with him. You're like a little below my shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do get kids menus at restaurants sometimes if I'm out with my dad or my other family.
Yeah. So yeah, I felt that one.
That's.
I did like the Bo Burnham character. I thought he was pretty funny in it.
He was funny in it, but then you do kind of see that he's still a part of.
Yeah, just because you're funny doesn't mean you're not a bad person.
Yeah, which I feel like I don't really know how to feel about that character because it's like he is. You think he's a good person. He's a pediatric surgeon.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I guess I'm not saying I like the character. I just think that he brings in funny lines that I think only Bo Burnham could do.
Yeah, that's true.
I did like his performance.
Yeah, he's a funny comedian. His acting was, was good.
Yeah, he's not really an actor, but he carried his own weight.
Yeah. So I guess we can go ahead and move on to what this got nominated for. It got nominated.
Nomination.
Yeah. It got Best Picture,
Obviously.
Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, Best Actress for Carey Mulligan, and Best Film Editing.
Yes. I'm happy that Emerald got the Best Director. But I don't agree with her getting the Best Original Screenplay.
I'm not mad at it, honestly, because I do think that she wrote something that was pretty for the most part, it was good.
Hmm.
I think that the ending has its flaws. I don't think she knew how to end it. But I think leading up to it, it's pretty solid.
I'm not a huge fan of the screenplay. I probably wouldn't put it in here. Also, Carey Mulligan is not that I hated it. I thought she was fine, but I just wouldn't point her out as like one of the top 5 female performances of the year.
Who would you switch her out with then?
I mean, I know who I would switch her out with, but it doesn't mean anything because the Academy votes differently.
Well, I want to know now.
Well, I like Jessie Buckley.
Oh,
Great.
from my thinking of a new.
Yeah.
They don't like that one.
They don't like Charlie Kaufman at all. So. Yeah.
I don't know. I think she did a solid performance. You know.
I don't. We'll talk about it more when we get to the nominations. But someone like Zendaya, which if we covered Malcolm and Marie, and we might have not liked the movie, I think Zendaya was solid. It was more of a standout than Carey Mulligan was in this, in my opinion.
But I mean, think about the range that Carey Mulligan has. Remember when we watched Pride and Prejudice?
Unfortunately. No, I'm kidding.
I'm just kidding too, but like, you know, I think she did an okay job. Film editing, I'm very bad at like, I guess, judging this, but
I mean, if the award is for editing around showing gore, they did a great job.
Yeah, but I don't think it particularly had they didn't really have standout editing.
The editing was fine. If you look at last year's winner, again, it was Ford vs Ferrari, I'm pretty sure, which was the most, classic type of editing. It didn't go for show off, and it won. And the year before it was Bohemian Rhapsody, which had terrible editing. I think a lot of people agree on that. But also a lot of people say that he won for different reasons. He won because the editor had to work on a movie with no director, which is really hard when you don't have anyone telling you what to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, 5 nominations sounds about right, I guess. I wouldn't expect the Best Picture one earlier on, but once I saw the buzz coming in, I knew I was going to get it. When did this come out? Because I watched this when it came out.
It came out, I think, like early. Well, no, that's a lie. I think it premiered at like Sundance back in like January of last year.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was released widespread until December.
I might have watched it in December or January. I think it was either late December or early January. And at the time, it didn't seem like something that would get it. It was not even on my mind.
No, it wasn't on my mind for Oscar. I did remember watching the trailer and thinking like that's something that I think I would enjoy and want to watch.
Yeah.
So what did you rate it?
6 out of 10. I never fell in love with it at any point, but I didn't hate it either.
I gave it a 7 out of 10. I feel like it could be an 8, but there are like some issues that I have with the ending that I think keeps it from being an 8. But I do appreciate the story it's trying to tell, and I don't know. I feel for the characters. Yeah. It's like not a real story, but it happens to real people sometimes. And
see, the first time I watched it as this is a popular film. It's not fun in the traditional sense, but it's very watchable, it's digestible for what it is. But now that I watched it the second time as an Oscar contender, I still didn't feel like it was good enough to be where it is. And this has nothing to do with social commentary. It's only the merits of the film as a story. I just don't think it does enough.
Well, I think that's all for this episode. We're only 2 episodes away from finishing this Oscar highlights series before we give you our final thoughts on who we think's going to win, who we think should win. And don't forget to like and subscribe and leave us a comment if you want, and we'll see you in the next episode.